here in the Rema studio today. Dr. Sam Chand, so wonderful to have you in the studio. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Andrew. What a joy it is to be here with you.
And now, can I just pick one of your titles? Because we did the introduction, and there's so many different ways to
Sam
introduce.
is my best title.
Okay, no, that's a good one. But you're known as the Dream Releaser, Sam. This is one of your titles. What is your dream, and what drives you to make that happen?
We have different dreams at different ages and stages of your life.
Yeah.
So next month I'll turn 66. So I'll give you my dream for right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have two dreams. One is to influence the influencers,
Yes.
and the other one is to create leadership content. And right now I'm living my dream. So
Absolutely fantastic. It's one thing to have a dream, but it's another thing to say, you know what, your calling, your strategy, your ministry in some ways is to release that dream in other people. Do all of us have that dream that needs to be released, do you think?
I have never seen anybody without a dream. I was born and raised in India. I've been all over the world. You see a kid playing in Soweto. You see playing someone in Nairobi. It doesn't matter where they're at.
Yeah.
They all have dreams. It might be to get a bicycle. That's a dream. It might be to get a job. That's a dream. Everyone's got a dream. The challenge is that most people will never live their dream because life happens and constraints happen, and just things don't go according to plan, or they don't have somebody in their life who can help them actualize that dream. So the way my Dream Releaser title came about, Andrew, was I was consulting with somebody in Chicago, and this is years ago,
Yeah.
and I was just talking to them, just like I'm talking to you right now, and they looked at me and said, "You know who you are?" I said, "No, tell me who am I?" Because I didn't know what they're going to
Well,
say.
exactly.
It could be really
could be
good.
good.
Could be worse. So they said, "You are a dream releaser." I said, "Really? What makes you say that?" He said, "I had dreams.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to make them happen because I was so enmeshed in my own stuff at that time that I did not realize. And you helped me create that dream." And then after that, somebody else said that, and somebody else said that. And so it kind of stuck after that.
See, I've heard of a dream catcher before. That's the thing you do with feathers and string and sticks, right?
Yeah.
But I've never met a dream releaser before, so wonderful to have you in the
But
studio.
here we are.
Yeah. Now, the work that you do, some of it within the Christian community and the work that you're doing here in New Zealand at the moment with AOG churches and inputting into some of the leadership there, but also very much in the business community as well, and working with developing leaders in that sphere.
Sure.
Is it difficult to balance that, the sacred and the secular, as it were, the two, two of the areas in which you're called to minister?
I don't think there's anything to balance, Andrew, because leadership is leadership. People say, well, I'm going to take a course in ethical leadership as opposed to unethical leadership.
Well, to be fair, we have seen that, especially in some of the top financial institutions around the world in recent years.
That's right. So I think leadership is leadership. Sacred, secular, church, corporate, ministry, marketplace. I think all leadership is leadership. So I get to do amazing amounts of work with churches as well as corporate. The issues are the same. Now, how you measure the outcomes might be different. So in the church world, I think the primary measurement is people coming to the Lord and discipleship. Those are the primary measurements there. In the corporate, it could be finances and social impact as well. So how you measure impact is different, but as far as delivering the leadership, I think it's all the same. It's got to be ethical. It's got to be biblical. It's got to be grounded. It's got to be principle-driven, not situationally driven. It's got to have integrity. You got to build credibility. You got to build the trust factor. So if you're a pastor of a church listening to me right now, or you're a CEO, president of a corporation listening to me right now, you're working on the same things.
Yeah.
You're casting vision. You're creating trust. You're creating credibility. You're empowering people. You're raising leaders. And you are making sure that what you have been purpose to do, that you're fulfilling your purpose.
The corporate world, the corporate structure, and corporate leadership ideas have perhaps influenced church culture a bit over the years, and some people may have different opinions on whether that's a positive or a negative thing as well. Have you seen it flow the other way around, that the Christian world, that the spiritual world is also having an influence on corporate structure, on the business community?
Absolutely. There are more and more believers in the corporate environment that most people don't know about. I'm convinced. I wrote a book years ago, somewhere in 2000, 2001, called Futuring, in which I postulate that the next revival, so to speak, will not be in the church, it'll be in the marketplace.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of believing people. Here's the thing. All truth is God's truth.
Yeah.
So once we understand that, then to say, well, church is adopting corporate or corporate is adopting church, it really all came out of the same thing. And I think in the 21st century, we kind of demarcate that a little bit, like that is corporate. So when people say, well, that's corporate, they're talking about systems and structures that are corporate. And this is a church, the flow of the Spirit and how we encourage people to be kingdom builders. It's really the same thing. Yeah. I don't think, someone says, but what is more important? I don't know which wing of the airplane is more important, the right or the left, So I think we get into these nuanced conversations that make good philosophical debates. But on the pragmatic side of things, Andrew, leadership is leadership.
My guest in the studio is Dr. Sam Chand. He is an expert in the area of leadership in both a church sphere and in a business community, equally comfortable in the pews as well as in the boardroom. We'll be back talking more with him in just a moment. It is just on 24 minutes to 12 o'clock. My guest in the studio is Dr. Sam Chand. He is a business consultant. He is a pastor. He is a mentor and also a dream releaser. Was that?
Something like that.
Something like that. Well, we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, and talking about perhaps the differences that some people perceive between the boardroom culture, the corporate culture, and what's happening in church. But essentially what you're saying is leadership is leadership.
Yes, because what are we leading? We're not leading things.
Yeah.
We're leading people. And if you're in the church environment, you're in the corporate environment, you're leading people, and you're trying to lead them to their best. You're not trying to be manipulative.
Yeah.
You're trying to bring out the greatest potential in their lives, and you're trying to leverage their know-how and their resources into what your vision is. So I think when we deal with people with integrity, keep credibility, respect, honor, trust, they translate, doesn't matter where you
exactly,
are.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't have those in your boardroom, something is missing. If you don't have those in your church, something is missing.
One of the things that you have talked about quite a lot, and you've also written a book and done a series on this, leadership pain, and in particular how leadership pain is, that pain in leadership can teach us to be better leaders.
Surely.
For a lot of us, we go, okay, if I can get through life and avoid as much pain as possible, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If I can be happy and not go through difficult situations, then that's how I define success.
Mm-hmm.
But for what you're saying in the book and in your material, actually, pain can be a friend in what it teaches us.
Absolutely. Pain is a friend. So that book came about from my consulting experience working with corporate and church leaders. And the question always came up, so what's the difference between a CEO of a large company and a smaller company, or the pastor of a larger church or a smaller church? And it's not location, it is not budget, it is not your board, it is not your administrative skills, it's not your staff. I have concluded it is the level of pain. So I built that book around one sentence, Andrew, and the sentence is simply this: you will grow only to the threshold of your pain. Mm-hmm. You will grow only to the threshold of your pain. The more pain you can handle, the higher you're going to go in life. So so life is about, someone said, about pleasure and pain.
Yep.
So we gravitate toward pleasure and we run from pain. However, pain will teach you greater lessons. Your failures, at least in my life, failures have taught me more about life and to be a better husband, a better father, a better grandfather, a better human being than successes have. So, and yet, so the first chapter, for example, in that book is called Leadership Leprosy. That's the first chapter in which, you start numbing your pain, and we run from our pain, and we medicate our pain, we deny our pain, and yet I think it's the painful places in our life that give us increased capacity to move higher. So when I work with high capacity individuals, I know they've been through pain. And I know they've been through tough times in their life. And I know that's why they can lead their corporation, their church to a higher place. So we don't run from pain. We don't invite pain, but we do embrace pain.
And you can work specifically to increase your capacity to deal with pain. This allows you to.
And there are many ways to do that. Let me give you just a couple. One is to have pain partners. People who will not judge you, people who will not try to give you easy believism or easy solutions, but people who will say, yes, it is true. This is happening. It is very bad. You will die.
With good friends like this is starting to sound like the book of Job, actually, isn't it? With friends like that, exactly. Although this sort of situation where you can face difficult circumstances, this not only builds endurance, but it also, when you're in difficult circumstances, when you're at the lowest point, God's got your complete attention a lot of the time.
Totally. And I've found this again and again in my life and others, that He'll bring you to those junctures where it's a dead end. There's nowhere to go. I think that is where Psalmist said, I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord. You can look all around you. There will be those junctures in your life where mama and daddy can't help you. The attorney, doctor, banker, CEO, church, pastor, counselor, consultant, nobody can help you. It'll just be the Lord. And I think that is His way of keeping us dependent on Him. And so we don't, there's those painful experiences. You look at every Bible character right after, so there are 4 steps in every Bible character. There's declaration, there's distress, there's demonstration, and then there's development, and then there's demonstration. There are 4 stages. So right after declaration, when God speaks in your life, the next one is distress. You can take any Bible character. You can take Jesus. You can take Abraham. You can take any Bible character, Nehemiah, Job, Peter, anybody. Right after their declaration on their life of how great things are going to be, the next place they find themselves is in distress. And I think that is where we start casting out devils, right? And there's no devil to cast out. Because in the middle of that declaration, distress is happening, and then God is trying to do number 3, which is development in your life, because His purpose is number 4, to bring demonstration in your life.
So when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up.
Totally.
And by looking up, by looking to God, not only does that develop skills and stamina within you, but of course glorifies God in the process.
Absolutely. And that is where you actually, you don't really need trust till you need trust. So trust is built in God. Though He slay me, Job says, that you quoted earlier, yet will I serve Him, yet will I trust Him, yet will I worship Him. And I think when you come to that place in your life, you really believe there is a God who's got your best interests at heart. He's not a sadist. This time you're going through is a time to develop, strengthen, and not just for you, but 2 Corinthians tells us so that we can encourage others with the same encouragement we have received.
Well, certainly great to have you here in New Zealand and bring you a lot of encouragement, and in particular doing some work with the AOG churches. Now, you've worked with different churches in different settings. I think Airport Lounges is probably your second home, same with the amount of time you spend on the road. But how does your perception of what's happening here in New Zealand, how does the situation for churches in New Zealand compare to what you've seen in other parts of the world, perhaps?
There's something special on New Zealand. You look at the major works, major churches around the world, including your cousin Australia. They are all Kiwis who ended up Aussies. But so there's something special on New Zealand. New Zealand still has what I call the pioneering spirit. Let's go make this happen. We'll take that mountain. We'll cross that river. I see that raw pioneering. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. Even the Saturday event that's coming up, the rally, it's like, let's do something big. that is not always true in other countries that might be playing it safer. It's just like churches, the larger they get, they lose their appetite for taking risks.
And the same is true in business. Again, this is a metaphor which crosses from the spiritual to the business. Now, the event happening this weekend. Now, you've got a number of different sessions during the week, but this Saturday night at the Logan Campbell Centre in Auckland, a free event, 6:30 p.m. Although advice, I think, is to turn up early to that one as well. What's some of the things that you're looking forward to presenting on Saturday night's message?
If I tell you everything here, then people will not.
Okay, no spoilers.
Yeah,
okay,
no
they
spoilers.
just have to turn up to watch it. Right?
But the theme is "Do It Again, Lord," and I will wonder out loud with you. What does that mean for you? When you say "Do it again," what does that mean for you in your personal life? And I'm looking for him to do it again, but I'm also looking for him to do something new in my life and fresh in my life. So the evening will be, what do you have for me? And I want all of that for me. And it's not what has already happened, but the next chapter of my life is even more exciting than where I've been. And so that evening is going to be an amazing, great worship, great camaraderie, great fellowship, and maybe the speaker might be mediocre as well.
I'm looking forward to what God is doing next through you and your ministry as well. And if people wanted to find out more, samchand.com, and I understand you've got some free gifts available on that website as well.
So if someone goes to samchand.com/free, two things will be free. One will be you'll get a book. It's simply called Leadership Essentials. So what my publishers have done, Andrew, they've taken a few of my books and condensed them into something that is very, very personal and usable. So you'll get a free book called Leadership Essentials. And second thing is every week I send out a 2-minute or less video from somewhere around the world on leadership.
This is the Tuesday thing, right?
Yeah, this is the Tuesday thing.
Yep.
Well, in New Zealand, you get it on Wednesdays.
Okay, yeah, because we're ahead of the game,
but
right?
I live in Atlanta, so it's you all are ahead of the game. So Tuesdays with Sam Chan, and it's something on leadership. It's all free, so you like it, keep it. Don't like it, dump it. If you like it, you'll tweet it and Instagram it and Facebook it, send it out to other people. It's all available at samchand.com/free. SAMCHAND, D as in David, .com/free.
Sam, it's wonderful to have you in New Zealand. Thanks for being in the Rhema studio.
To be here.
Thanks for being part of the program today.
Thanks, Andrew.